Bonjour. My name is Joan Morning Star. That's my government name. And my spirit name is Jean Anquitque, the South Cloud Woman. And I live at Misogwi First Nation. It's about 5 miles west of Blind River, Ontario. We're pretty well located between Sault Ste. Marie and Sudbury, in between, about the middle. In the early 80s, Chemical, back then their name El Dorado, moved here, and they put up a plant. While they're building it, they brought in a bunch of men, steel workers and everything to build the plant. So there was trailers used as buck houses. I was hired to work there. So I worked there, and it was good to work there. Then I got laid off, and there was no reason why they laid me off because nothing changed. So I was laid off for 2 weeks, and I wasn't given no reason. So when they called me back, I noticed some people were different. They were not really making eye contact with me and not really talking to me. And I had a friend there, and I asked her, I said, what happened? I said, it seems different here. She goes, oh, nothing, and she walked away quick. So I went back to work that day. I sat down. I was cleaning the last room, and I heard music. So I thought I left a radio on in one of the rooms. There was 10 rooms per trailer. So I checked the rooms, there was no radio on. So I went back to the room, I sat down on the chair and I listened. And I could hear the music. It was faint at first, but after a while it got louder. I could hear the drums. Then I heard men, women, and children wailing, crying, and a lot of sorrow. And at that moment, that's when I got choked up. I pretty near started crying because it was so sorrowful. So after that was over, that evening after work, I went and talked with my mother-in-law. And I told her what happened, my experience. And she said, it sounds like they disturbed something there. She said, maybe a burial ground. She said, go back, she said, and talk to your friend and see if you can get some information. I said, okay. So I went back and I sat down with my friend and I said, tell me what happened here, because there was a lot of things happening at work. And so she looked at me and looked around. She looked back at me. She said, they told us and we told you that we would get fired. She said, but she said they excavated. She said there was a burial ground. She said they had helicopters here and lights hooked up 24/7. She said they took everything out. She said archaeologists and everything was there. So with that, she got up and left, and I went back that evening and I told my mother-in-law, yeah, they did dig up a burial ground. So she told me to make an offering and go there and make that offering with food and tobacco and that. I said, okay. So that weekend, me and my husband, then we went by a canoe. We parked along the bank. We had to climb up on the bank because we snuck on the land. chemical. And so we got to the tree line and we walked in, and that's when we could see all the indentations where they did the rectangle squares and everything on the ground. So I went there to a few of them. I talked with them. I thanked them for reaching out to me. And once I could hear the drums and the singing and everything again. I sat down, I started crying. And then we put our offerings all down, we left. I went back and talked to my mother-in-law. And she told me they reached out to you. She said, try to bring our people back home. So that's been, since about 1982 that I started this. And now it's 2021. And I feel motivated again that maybe this time I'll get them home with the sacred items, because I know when our people get buried, they get buried with their sacred items. I don't want them hanging up no more in the museum or nothing. They have to be buried again, and I just want to bring the people home.
Joan, how far away is the refinery and the incinerator from your reserve here?
Well, if you go, there's 1.6
kilometers.
But there's people on the other side of the highway that live closer. But you don't see none of that information in chemicals reports, because they always say refer to Blind River being the furthest community. It's like Misogwi First Nation is invisible to them. They got emergency evacuation plan for the golf course. They got emergency evacuation plan. There's a hydro yard over here. They got emergency evacuation for that. But no mention of Misogwi, who lives right on their doorstep, basically. We have no emergency evacuation. If their bells went off today, do you think I could hear them? Mm. And because I got disabilities right now, I had cancer from, I believe, caused by that refinery. I got lung cancer, and from the lung cancer, the doctor said it was the first time they seen cancer attack the motor skills, fine and gross, the talking skills and the walking. So I'm doing better than I was last year.
Do you think that's because you're so close to the refinery, or do you think it might have something to do with the incinerator that they put in as well?
Well, when they had the fallout way back in 1991, I think, or 1990, there was over 100 and some yellow cake, I guess, that was released. And I remember waking up that morning, our car, which was white, it was all covered with this yellowish stuff. Yellowish greenish stuff was all covered. So I went out there and I took some off the car with my hand. My husband, then he came out too and looked. We didn't know what it is. But right now, I got cancer. He has cancer. He's my ex now, but he got cancer. The woman, my friend that lived next door to me, she got cancer and died. The young girl that lived across the street from me, her kids has multi health issues, And then this other friend down
Wow.
at the street, her daughter got breast cancer. The guy that worked at chemical not far from there, from where I live, he died of cancer.
It's all over the community, eh?
It's people been dying about every 3 months with cancer from here and from Blind River. I just heard another guy from Blind River.
Wow, Joan, thank you very much.